Hello to our audience at home, tuning into Facebook Live here at the Pacific Council. Today we're joined by Colleen Thouez. Colleen, why don't you tell our audience at home who you are and what you do?
Thank you so much, Kimiya. Well, I work at the United Nations. I've been there for about 15 years, really trying to promote development so that individuals can succeed, that they can access education, have good health, and appropriate housing. And I'm also very concerned with immigration and refugee protection issues.
Wonderful. So today at the Global Los Angeles Summit, where we were joined at the California Club based here in Los Angeles, we're discussing the UN Sustainable Development Goals for 2030. Of course, it's been of great importance to the city of Los Angeles, to Southern California, and of course to Mayor Eric Garcetti. In many ways, California and the western coast of the continent is a great exception to the general sway of social movement in the United States. In your experience, how might it promote the progressive ideals of the SDG across the region and perhaps even across the country?
Well, a first consideration is, why are the Sustainable Development Goals important? And what they do is they really clarify what states, what countries, and what communities of people and what cities should be doing so that everybody can live a better life and so that everybody can attain their full potential. And it also clarifies how the challenges to getting there, to that better life, change over time. Because 15 years ago, we had a different set of benchmarks for development. And today's benchmarks for development, the Sustainable Development Goals, include things that we didn't have in the first set, like immigration issues, like higher education, access to higher education, making it something that's accessible to all, which is such an important issue here in the United States, in the state of California, and in the city of Los Angeles. Mayor Garcetti is a leader. He's an absolute leader on the SDG 11, which is the SDG on cities. And that's all around making cities more inclusive, more resilient, more sustainable, and safer cities. And you see that in the policies that are being developed, including through the Immigration Office here in the city of LA. So Mayor Garcetti is really an example for the rest of the country, and he's making connections with other city leadership in other parts of the United States.
Mm-hmm. And coming back to the discussion of immigration policies, well, why don't we throw to one of the U.S.'s neighbors just up north to Canada? And we're wondering to know where and in what ways might California and the United States benefit in drawing lessons from the successes of a neighbor like Canada for these outlying goals.
Such an interesting and such an important issue for all Americans and for Canadians and really for the whole world. Immigration issues are really at the heart of a more global world. We talk about the movement of people like we talk about the movement of capital and the movement of goods. And that's the way we should talk about it, because that's the future of the world and of economic progress. In Canada, you see two different types of policy, one for immigration and the other for refugee protection. And it's so important that we understand that difference, because the United States, like Canada, has this great tradition of taking in people who are fleeing the most horrific conditions, children who are in absolute need of protection, and other people. And because the overall numbers of people who are being brought into a country because they are actual refugees is diminishing, the role of cities and a city like Los Angeles is all the more important, because what it's doing is that it's not distinguishing between different types, legal status of people. It's extending the services that a city needs to extend in terms of housing and education and so many other important services that cities offer to all city residents. And the successes that cities have when it comes to refugee protection and to immigration issues will have benefits for how the national government, for how the government overall sees these policies.
Mm-hmm. I mean, these ambitions are certainly very topical and important for the future of not only the United States, but of this continent and beyond. Thank you for your time and insight today, Colleen. We really appreciate it. To our audiences back home, you can go to thepacificcouncil.org for more information.